Shut up and sit down.
I was riding on my bike.
So I'm in the hot seat, so here we go.
I grip the handlebars as I overtake her.
You are listening to the Dialed Podcast with Matt Legrand, Evan Price, Lance Hepler, and Jake Von During.
El asiento caliente está de vuelta.
I was punching on a show.
Hello and welcome to the hot seat.
Flying just like Superman.
All of us will end up in the hot seat.
On my bike. Just riding on my bike. Riding on my bike.
So embark on this journey with us, wouldn't you? On the hot seats with me.
Hi, and welcome back to the Dial Podcast. I am Jake Von During, and I'm here with Matt Legrand.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? You guys are looking Skype-tastic today.
Yeah.
Little Skypey.
Yeah, the way we have it set up is Lance is, I've got video showing of Lance across the table. Normally, I just look directly into his gorgeous blue eyes, but now it's through Skype. There it is. If he zooms in, things are looking better. Stash is looking good across there.
On Skype today, Mr. Lance Hepler.
It's Lance Romance roaming the Western United States in the adventure van.
Nice.
Coming at you live from the Walmart parking lot in American Fork, Utah.
Oh, yeah.
Only the best.
And sitting directly across the table from me, hold on a second there, Lance, is Mr. Evan Price.
Technically, to Lance's right, kind of his front right direction.
Yeah, it's digital right.
This is great. We can actually ask Lance what he's drinking and see if he's lying to us or not now.
That's true.
Are you drinking an energy drink? Oh, no.
Gatorade?
Technically, Gatorade is an energy drink.
I think so, yeah.
Well, it's the Gatorade Zero. No calorie Gatorade. I'm not sure what good that is, but that's what I'm drinking.
Yeah. I don't understand that.
Why 0 calories?
When you drink Gatorade, you try to replenish the calories.
Don't you want calories?
And then
it tastes better than water, and it's got electrolytes in it. So
it's good, yeah.
What was that movie where they're like, it's got
Idiocracy.
Idiocracy.
Yes, absolutely. It's got electrolytes.
Every time I hear electrolytes, I'm always like, oh, yeah.
That movie taught me that if you want your plants to grow, you just have to water them with electrolytes.
It's got electrolytes.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. All right, let's jump into some backpedaling. Lance, I think you were going to say something and I cut you off, but why don't you go ahead and backpedal, but if you need to spit out what you were going to say.
I'm just, Walmart parking lots are very RV and van friendly as long as you don't get called by the cops. That's
as long as you don't.
Walmart parking lots. Well, for some reason, Walmart tend to attract
people like Lance.
A crowd that tends to break the law. I don't know how.
The people of Walmart. Everybody knows the people of Walmart.
Like Lance. Yeah. Lance, if you get the cops called on you during this podcast, this will go down as the greatest podcast that we have ever had. If Lance gets arrested on site, on location.
I'm just sitting here at the very back of the parking lot trying to mind my business while my wife is picking up more energy drinks for me in the store.
I see you kind of like scouting, looking through
I know,
the windows.
Yeah.
Like,
He's looking super sketchy right now.
I'm
keep an eye out for the
sure
cops.
You know, if the cops look in and
so,
see your mustached face, they're going to be like, yeah, that's the guy. Get him.
I was going to say, mustache, van, he's going straight to jail.
Sunglasses, it's over.
He matches the description for every criminal we have.
That's right. I look terrible. My hair is not done. I rode this morning, and
How was your ride this morning?
It was fantastic. I rode some gravel around Deer Creek Reservoir, some with the dog and some all on my own. And there's a beautiful road there, like an 8-mile section of gravel you could ride out and back on from Deer Creek Reservoir up to Midway, Utah, which is right near Heber, Utah. So that was fun this morning. But the rest of my back pedal, I did hit 10,000 miles for the year this morning.
Whoa, congrats, bud.
Nice.
Wow. And we're in October.
And we're at the beginning of October, which is faster than I've ever done it. So obviously I've been riding a lot. This is day 49 of the Dialed 100, 100 days in a row.
We're almost halfway.
So
are you sure about that?
Halfway.
Are you sure?
It's day 49.
It's 48.
It's day 48.
It's 48.
Yeah.
No, today's 49. Yesterday was 48.
Wrong.
Are you off on
was,
your count?
Yesterday was 47, my friend. I'm pretty sure.
probably off on my count.
Oh, somebody's got to fact check.
He's
that.
like, I ride so
check
much I
because-
lost track.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna fact check that. It's not gonna be you or me.
No.
Definitely not gonna be us.
I fell off the train a while ago.
Well, I'm still on the train, but I don't know where I am on the train. I never know. I always see like other people's posts. Lance is like 47. I'm like, I guess that's where we are.
Somebody's been counting wrong.
I did lose track once this week, but I thought I straightened it out. Anyway, who cares? The big reason I came to Utah is because there is a company, a race company that is actually putting on cyclocross races, and I did a cyclocross race on Saturday morning here.
Wow, we need to applaud that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which one's
Top
applaud?
right, top right.
Gotta hold on a second. Yeah,
Jake,
keep going.
Jake is not positive which one's the applaud.
Top right, top right.
Top right.
There.
I think that's a laugh.
No, that's the laugh. Go for it.
Yeah. Ha, you did a cyclocross race. That's so funny.
That's hilarious, Lance. Woo.
Dang it, I messed it up.
So interesting. They have several COVID things in place. Obviously, you have to wear a mask for registration. If you're spectating, if you're near anybody else, when you start up in the starting chute, you have to have a mask on. Once the race starts, though, you can drop the mask or not wear the mask during the race. The other thing is they had field limit sizes. They could only register 35 people per field. So there were field limit sizes.
35.
Now,
That's pretty tight.
Yeah, so that you could spread things out a little bit better on the course, and that held with the county restrictions, the county COVID regulations that they've got. This was in Ogden, Utah, that I did this race. It's a company called Utah Cyclocross, and they have a series of 8 races this year, I believe. The first one was last week. I missed that. The second one was on Saturday. Fast and flat course with just a couple of obstacles. It was super fun to get out there. I raced in the 45 plus open division, which meant Cat 1 through 5. Anybody over 45 plus could race in it. There was only 15 people in my division, so cyclocross really isn't that big in Utah. I think because it gets too cold.
Yeah.
But I don't know, for whatever reason, we are spoiled in the Northwest. Our cyclocross races and our race promoters in the Northwest are really phenomenal with what they do. But this Utah Cyclocross company, they put on a really good race. It was good. It was well marked. It was not that technical, but the course actually was on the infield of a horse racing track. And the infield is where they do the steeplechase for the horses. So there's all these horse obstacles. And so the course went around and through these different horse obstacles and across the horse racetrack. And so that was kind of fun.
That's cool.
As far as the race went, 15 people in the race. Of course, within about 400 yards of the start, I pulled into the lead. And I think the locals were a little upset because there were two of them.
Your mustache, for one.
My mustache, for one. And there was another guy from Vegas who drove up to do the race because there's no racing in Vegas either. And so I led the first lap. I actually had about a 10-second gap on the field on the first lap. On the second lap, the guy from Vegas caught me, and he sat on my wheel, and the two of us just pulled away from the rest of the field. So he sat on my wheel for about 3.5 laps, and we just kept putting time into the field. We got about 1.5 minutes ahead of the rest of the field. And then with like 2 laps to go, he like scooted around me, and I just couldn't stick with him. So I ended up in second place.
You're not representing Portland well. You are Vegas. I mean, come on, Vegas. You're gonna let Vegas beat us?
We did not send you out there for second place, Lance. That's
I did not win. I'm guessing he's a 45-year-old, and I'm used to racing in 50-year-old classes. So I got beat up by the younger whippersnappers. So it was very fun. They very much made fun of my mustache, which I loved. Every time I came through the start-finish line, I would take my hands off my bars, and I would twist the ends of my mustache with a little bit of flair. And so not only can he ride without his hands on the handlebars, but he can fix his other handlebar mustache while he's riding.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
the announcer was good and had fun and all that. That's cool.
Yeah, they were just mocking and having fun, and it
Perfect.
was great fun.
Perfect,
so just what you expect in a cyclocross is a little bit of mockery. So I had a great time. My wife actually raced as well. She decided to line up and go. She's probably going to be ticked at me that I even said that. So we just had a good time. I had some friends that came and watched, and it was just, we've been great. Other than that, I've been spending the week here in Utah with two of my kids, and we've been going on hikes, and we've been biking a little every day, and that's my week.
Well done.
Did you sign up for all the other races that are left in that series? It's probably like 6 races left or something, or
there are 6 races left. My plan is to try to hit as many of them as I can, but
I just didn't know. Since the field is limited to 35, I didn't know if you were like, I got to sign up for all of these just to go ahead and snag the spots.
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, last week there were only 12 in this field, and this week there were 15. So it grew by a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not so much.
So
I did see another guy from Portland, or a guy from Hood River from the Cross Pistols team. That was cool. So it was neat. It was cool to line up and do some racing again and hurt that much.
The guy who beat you this week, was he there last week as well?
He was not. Neither of us were there.
So you guys are probably kind of up there in the series points, and you're probably within shooting range or shooting distance of being able to like maybe land on the podium for series points.
Yeah, that's possible. The guy who won last week ended up taking 6th this week, so we kind of rolled away from him. And I think the guy who took 3rd this week flatted the week before or something like that, and so
you're right up there.
It's going to be a battle.
So we're right up there.
So
it'll be fun.
Again, how much of the series are you going to stick around and do?
The races go through December 5th.
Whoa.
It all depends on if you get arrested in the Walmart parking lot or
this
not.
Is true. Right. This is all very up in the air.
The whole race series point system. If you know Bill, Bill works at Walmart, and he's a police officer, and he races cyclocross.
He does, yeah.
So he just comes out, he arrets you, and then that's it for the series. You're out.
That's it.
This will be equal to the Cofidis affair, if anybody remembers that. They're going to raid Lance's, van. They're going to find all of that testosterone he's hiding in there.
That's right. You're going to find Coke Zero.
And Monsters.
You're going to find Monsters and Zero Gatorade. So that's what you're going to find in here. And no meat, unfortunately. But there isn't another race for 3 weeks. So there's a 3-week break, and then there's a race every single Saturday other than Thanksgiving. So, we're going to stick around. There's actually a gravel race in a week and a half from not far from here that I'm going to try to go hit. And then, I don't know.
Is that the Belgian?
I'm going to do it. The Belgian waffle ride. Yeah.
You're going to go do that?
So I'm going to go do that. One of our teammates also signed up, so he's going to meet me there.
Yep. I was talking with him about that yesterday.
Yeah. So that should be fun for us to go suffer a little bit. That's a whole different ball game.
Cool. Cool. Mr. Evan Price, you had a weekend.
Yeah. I had a blast of a weekend, I guess. I don't know. I had on Saturday, we did a little group ride where the big news is we had 2 of our juniors make it through the full rack ride, which is awesome. Elijah Engstrom and Nels, as we've talked with Nels on this pod, they both made it through the century, which I think means now we can't hide from them by going further, and they're definitely faster than all of us in short races. So we're done now. We're all old. Nels and Elijah and all of his buddies are going to be faster than us already.
No doubt.
It's already happened. Yeah. It's already happened. I got to realize that when you're not that great of an athlete with slow reaction time, that you don't avoid crashes too well. So if I was in the Tour de France, I'd be crashing almost on a daily basis. I'm sure.
I saw your elbow there.
Yeah, we had when you have like a group ride, and this was not that big of a group ride, but I think a lot of us have not been doing much group riding this last year, and for me it was we were just going in a flat area, and I was in the drops out of the saddle, which I do frequently, and probably is not that great in group ride, but it was just in that position. It was bad timing where somebody popped a bottle, and I kind of had to hit the person in front of me, so that he had to kind of swerve, and then swerved into me, and just caused this little chain reaction. And of course, as I was showing, the least athletic guy was the one who went down, which was me. So outside of just landing on my hip, I was absolutely fine. Bike's decently good. I probably need to bring it in this week and have this mechanic guy who works in the same clinic that I do check it out. And, but no, yeah, for me, it was actually not that bad, because it kind of made me realize, like, hey, it's probably time for a little off season right now, or at least to pretend like I'm doing an off season for a second.
Is that the plan?
Yeah, probably. This week I'll need to take a break from running just because I'm sore, and then.
Oh, really? Crash was that bad, huh?
I mean, like, I'm just sore. Yeah, no, it really was not that bad of a crash, but I'll probably be able to still ride this week and maybe swim a little bit.
No track workout this morning.
No. I'm definended not willing to turn over the legs that fast right now.
Which day was this that you?
Saturday. Saturday's right. Yeah. Which was it ended up being a beautiful day. Very, very foggy to start the day, but then ended up being really good weather. So that was good. That was basically the weekend. Caught up and watched I watched the whole London Marathon, which was pretty crazy. Not at all the result I thought was going to happen. Eliud Kipchoge as champ will, I'm sure, skip over. Eliud Kipchoge finished 8th in the London Marathon, but in big news in the women's field, Sarah Hall sprinted to 2nd.
Yeah, that's
which
crazy.
was awesome. Ryan Hall's I think Ryan Hall is now her husband. If we're gonna, that's.
But
she's
race of her career.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, right. But in my opinion, she's first of the humans in the race, as Kosgei is. So I mean, the Kenyan woman who won the race is just head and shoulders above everybody else. And Sarah had to sprint to beat third place at the end, which was just a great sprint finish. Similar type of finish in the men's field, where there was a group of 3 guys who had to whittle each other down the last 400 meters and made for one heck of a finish.
Yeah.
But
fantastic.
Kipchoge got dropped earlier in the race. So Sunday on the trainer, got to watch all of the London Marathon, which to me, watching marathon racing is actually kind of exciting. I like watching those it's cool kind of guessing, okay, who looks comfortable in the group, who looks, because it's such a race of attrition.
It's weird because you'd think that watching a 2-hour race would be super boring because they're just running.
Yeah.
And I find it great and fascinating. I don't feel the same and I love watching the Tour de France, but there's so many stages where it's just they're just riding in a big group, and it's anytime you get into the mountains, it's riveting, but a lot of the stages, it's pretty boring.
Moving day stage, I'm not going to
watch. And what's really sad is the time trial stuff is boring, and I love time trialing, obviously.
Yeah.
But I feel sad that it's one of the most boring stages to watch in the tour.
It's got to be mountains. That's why the Giro's great.
Yeah.
Which we are now into this week, apparently. If anybody, we should post a schedule of the professional cycling races right now, because it is.
Haven't we already done that? I think
Sean Martin on our page did. Yeah, but it's such a. I had to be told 2 days before the Giro started. I was like, oh yeah, that's starting now. You had guys going and racing Flèche going to. So what was the race that they did right before? There were guys who raced that race and then went to the Giro. It was Forgosan was one of the guys.
Peter Sagan.
Was it? Yeah. I think
Sagan's in there.
There was one day classic that was literally 48 hours from the start of the Giro. It was wow. Race, boom, now you're in the Giro. Ooh. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It may have been Flèche Wallonne. I'm not positive. I need to look. It
must have been Flèche Wallonne.
Yeah.
How about we save this for the
backpedal?
For the backpedal.
Sorry, news.
For the lead-out news.
There you go.
Hey Matt, you want to backpedal?
I can be quick on backpedaling because I didn't do much. I rode Zwift. Saw you on Zwift a couple times. Tried to throw a thumbs up at you, but
again, I didn't see you.
I know. That's because you're so fast.
Shoot me a text or something. I'm generally not staring at the screen when I'm doing
Honestly,
that.
it's cool.
Multitasking like crazy.
Yeah, multitasking. Yeah. I usually use that as my time to zone out and not work. But Zwifted quite a few times this week. I think I rode outside on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and I think that's going to be the pattern for a while.
Yeah.
Just because life's busy.
Well, that and days are getting really short.
Days are getting short.
The weather is coming.
Yep. I would love to say that I would get outside today. It's beautiful outside. It's just I'm concerned that it's not going to happen with work stuff.
Yeah.
I swam outside at Fallen Leaf Lake. That was nice. And this is a swimming.
Nice.
This is a swimming podcast.
Yeah.
That's right.
So that was super cool. I was testing a whole bunch of watches and some really cool stuff that's coming up on my channel. I'm really excited about that. And Sean Henry came out there with me and helped me film, which was super nice. Like, he was just like, this was middle of a work day on Thursday, and he was just like, yeah, I'll come out there. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah. And then I thought he was going to swim with me a little bit, but he was like, man, just film some stuff. And he didn't really. But it was, I mean, super nice of him to like come out there, do all the camera stuff, get in the water a little bit, help me move all the junk around and stuff. It was just really nice to, have help. So I mostly film myself on these things. And so
I know you've talked about that. You have to make the decision between, do you want to work out today or do you want to get a good video?
Yeah, it's right. And in fact, that was actually the case with this swim, where I basically swam. I swam once out and back, which is like to the first buoy, which is 200 meters. Ended up getting 1,000 meters worth of swimming in because I was swimming back and forth for camera stuff. And I literally had probably 5 products to test. And so there's a lot of like switch around this, switch around that, and then try and get a video of that, video of this. And it was great because it all worked out. And the water is beautiful, and it was like sun was kind of starting to set a little bit. So I'm excited for some of these videos to come out. But open water swimming, Lance. Let's do it.
Were there more people over there, or have there been more people over there recently because of the other lake being drained and toxins and all that fun stuff?
We had the place to ourselves the whole time. After Sean left, there was one like old couple in their 70s that came, and the old lady went and swam, and then and then I was talking to the older gentleman, and he was talking about all of his swimming glory days and stuff, and then he was like, well, it's too nice not to swim, so he hopped in and he swam a little bit, and it was just cool.
How was his stroke?
They were mostly keeping their head up out of water, kind of swimming. Gotcha. Which I don't really consider. I mean,
swimming.
I mean, it's more just enjoying the lake and enjoying the water.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
Yeah.
It was super nice for them to be out there and they were, looking at me like I was a crazy person because I'm, got all the camera crapola and just, had all these watches and I'm just such a weird person.
Did you tell them to watch you on YouTube, and then they're like, what's YouTube?
Yeah. That's the conversation we had. They said, what's YouTube? And I tried to explain that to them.
Didn't work.
The internet is a series of tubes.
Yeah.
You see.
So. Which day is it on? Yeah.
Which day?
What channel?
Is it AB? You check your local listing. Yeah.
I don't think I get YouTube on my cable.
Yep. That's how it went.
Cool. I'll blast through mine real quick. 5 of my 7 days were on Zwift.
Ouch.
Kind of like Matt.
Yeah, I think I had the same.
I snuck out on Friday and rode the gravel bike.
Did you? That's cool.
I just didn't want to be on Zwift again, and it was one of those things where I'm like, all right, I can ride on the gravel and I can get away with it being a little bit dark, which it was a little bit dark when I got home, but it was still a nice ride. And on Saturday was absolutely nuts. I totally wanted to go on that ride with you to do the Century, and it just didn't work out. So I, again, was pressed for time, got on Zwift then. And then Sunday, finally, a day kind of opened up where I had a moment of time where I could go ride. So went on a little ride with Ian Gibson, Team Ian Gibson, and Chris Surratt. So we did the...
nice.
All the Washougal climbing, all the little Washougal monument climbs out there. So.
How did you feel? Because that was kind of where you had your big crash. So did you feel safe out there?
Yeah, it was. The traffic wasn't bad for
Sunday morning
for just the entire day.
That's good.
Yeah, when we first got started, I don't know what it was. I had just like this low grade headache, and I'd drinking a ton of water to try and get that go away. And I'm like, this is gonna be a crappy ride, having to keep up with these two guys. Because Ian is, how old is Ian Lance? 59.
He's 59,
and he sprints like a 40-year-old. So
he does.
He's like I don't know.
He can still hit like 1,400 watts.
Yeah,
he's 59.
Yeah,
looks way younger than 59.
Deceiving,
too.
and he's got the most ripped, shredded calves you'll see.
He's got very, very ripped legs.
And then we all know Chris Surratt is an absolute monster on the bike. So I'm like, all right, this is either going to be a really long day with him, but we got 5-10 minutes into the ride. Well, actually, I went out and rode for 15 to 20 minutes. Because everybody knows me. What do I usually do about 20 minutes into the ride, Lance?
Pee.
You got to stop and pee.
Yeah. Every single time.
So I figured if I left a little bit early, I could meet them at the place where we're meeting, and there's a restroom there, and I can get it out of me. But so I started to feel a little bit better, started riding, and then like 5 minutes later, it was gone. So I was like, all right, sweet. And immediately went into like, oh, there's a segment here. Let's see if we can get this segment. So, yeah. So we chased the segment down, and lo and behold, good old Garmin on my bike was not having fun with the GPS. It was giving me the live segment and got the KOM per the Garmin, went back and checked Strava, and it doesn't even show that I went through the route. So I kindly handed over a couple KOMs to Chris Surratt and to Ian Gibson that they can keep in their shelf. And I don't know, whatever. I did 100% of the work, which was kind of funny, but they got the glory. But yeah, we went and did that ride, and it was 5,200 feet of climbing and about 55 miles, and I felt really good.
Yeah, you can do that in Washougal. You can get like 1,000 every 10 miles pretty easy. Yeah.
So I tried to stay seated for just about all of the climbing so I wouldn't aggravate my shoulder, and just spun up the hills and was pretty good.
Those are definitely not easy hills just to spin up on either.
No, I mean, we even went up like Maybe Mines. We did Sky. We did Vernon. We did...
Vernon's tough to spin up.
Yeah.
That's real hard to spin up,
we did all of those, and that was a good time. And had another ride where it was 3 hours long, and my normalized power was just under, I think I was right around like 310 for the 3 hours. So felt good. Wow. Yeah.
God.
But that's about it.
And shoulder's doing well.
No, it feels like crap. So
okay. Today's a bad day.
It's pretty sore and stiff. Yeah. It's, I don't know. It just seems like it's like kind of regressing, but the upside is I can still ride a bike fine.
Yeah.
It's not bothering me on the bike so long as I don't do anything kind of nuts. Oh, and that was another thing too. I rode a bonus ride yesterday. My son's like, "Dad, can we go ride mountain bikes?" I'm like feeling like a little bit shattered from this ride that we did earlier, but oh, you know what? That actually sounds kind of nice. Yeah, let's go. So we jumped on the mountain bikes, but I just don't have the strength and the stability in my shoulder to like ride. And I tried taking my gravel bike on some single track stuff when I rode that Friday, and it just doesn't feel, I'm not going to say unstable. It just doesn't feel like it has the strength to do that. And it was the same thing when I was on the mountain bike, but still out there riding, having fun. We rode for about half an hour and good times.
That's good.
Cool.
How much is he getting out on the mountain bike?
He rides all the time with his buddies.
That's good.
Like he'll go down to his friend's house and they'll just go ride.
Do they go to the what's that place called? What do they call it?
The bunker.
The bunker.
The bunker.
Thank you.
Yeah.
They were at the bunker.
I hear them sometimes when I'm back there.
They ride from my house to like where like the Walmart parking lot. You know where the Minchie's is at?
Yeah.
They ride to Minchie's from my house.
It's actually there's some back ways you can
That's
go.
It's
not bad.
Yeah,
he's like on the way
he's
back.
like, Dad, I only have to cross like one big street and there's a stoplight and we can just wait for the light. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
So
nice.
he's doing what I was doing at 11 years old, and yeah.
Isn't it weird? Like we're like, well, when we did that, we did the same thing, but without helmets, and now we're like totally hovering parents, right? Like you're like, I don't know, you got to make sure you stop at those stop signs, you know? And it's I don't know why, but as time progresses, you're more and more protective, I guess. I don't know, but
well, there's a lot of people who know Barrett just because they know me and they know my wife,
right?
And they just are sensitive to people out riding bikes, so they see them. Like you mentioned that you saw Barrett and like.
Yeah,
wanted to go up and tell me, you better slow down on a hill. Like, and I told him, I'm like, hey, I heard you were bombing down a hill. I was like, what? I'm like, right here. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, I've got eyes everywhere. So
yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's it's pretty funny. But anyway, that was something that.
Although maybe he should be able to bomb down a hill if he's safe. You know, I don't know. I think it's fine, but I would, my heart races when I see kids that are doing things that are even slightly unsafe or whatever. So you're like, you don't want anyone to have a big crash.
Yep,
sure. But biking that's biking.
Yep.
So
yeah,
cool. All right, let's kick this into the Leadout news.
Leadout news.
Champ
Bailey.
Where you at, Champ?
If he's on location.
Champ Bailey in the Walmart parking lot.
Oh, Champ Bailey's at Walmart.
I'm in the Walmart parking lot, coming to you live from Walmart.
Coming to you live.
Champs had a rough week.
Yeah. And I'm stuck at Walmart.
Champs funding it's getting gutted.
All right, so there were some races that started to happen this week. A couple of classics went down. The first was Flesh Wallone, and Flesh Wallone was won by Mark Hershey. That
one heck of a finish too.
That Swiss kid from.
What is he, 22?
Yeah, just
good season there.
Like
is Hershey 22? Yeah. He's like the same age as Pogačar.
What a season.
Yeah. God, can you imagine those junior races when like Pogačar and Hershey used to race each other? They just like blow the field away.
I mean, we didn't know about him
Super
last
awesome
year, did
that
we?
he was there.
No. Yeah,
no.
They're unreal.
The next big race that happened was Liège-Bastogne-Liège with all sorts of drama at the finish. Did you watch it, Matt?
No, I didn't watch it.
Oh, I saw.
But I did read a little bit that there was.
Okay, so again, big, gigantic, long, 270-mile or 270-kilometer race, Liège-Bastogne-Liège. It came down to the very end. 5 guys broke away. That included Alaphilippe, Roglic, Hershey, Pogačar, Pogača. Sorry, I said that wrong, and I can't remember who the other guy was. There was 5 people that had broke away just in the very end. Right at the very finish, Alaphilippe gets the jump on everybody and hammers away and is crossing the finish line, and he posts up where he raises his arms in the air for winning, and Roglic out-leaned him. So,
he pulled up way early. Like, I mean, he was 30, 40 meters from the line, decided he was going to put the arms up already.
Yeah, it was 20 meters that he posted up
and
thought he had it, and everybody else kept racing, and Roglic ended up coming around him on the outside and winning the race. And Alaphilippe actually ended up getting relegated because when he posted up, he cut into Pogača, who couldn't sprint around him, and so he ended up they gave him 5th. He thought, here I am in the World Championships jersey because I just won the World Championships, and he just celebrated too early. So that was a bummer for him, a kind of a bonehead move, but
still, I think
we all make dumb mistakes.
He's had a good
season.
Kidding
me? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean the guy's
phenomenal.
He's in the yellow, world champion, and then he's got this these moves.
He's incredible. Too much panache. He's got way too much panache, and that came back to bite him there. I actually think Lance. I think he got relegated for actually the move. I think it was actually prior to when he put his hands up. I actually think he swerved right before that. He had a couple. If you watch that last. Kilometer.
He jumped on somebody's wheel. Yeah, he jumped on somebody's wheel quickly.
Yeah.
But,
he was kind of all over the road, which I don't know. To me, it's like in that group. I mean, as great as Pogača is, like if I'm Alaphilippe, I'm pretty confident I'm going to win that sprint. He kind of did some things he didn't need to do. But the thing with Liège-Bastogne-Liège is that's I think still the longest one-day race on the calendar. I want to say it's almost like 160, 170 miles. So it's a super.
Milan-San Remo's longer.
Is Milan-San Remo longer? I thought it was Liège-Bastogne-Liège, but I could be wrong there. But I mean, it's either way a super super long day, and that's I think towards the end maybe he just wasn't thinking as clearly. Maybe his depth perception was a little off there.
That's a good point.
It's
a long day.
It's a very long day.
Guess who else was on the podium for that race? Mark Hershey again, who just won Flèche Wallonne. He was on the podium there.
I think Alaphilippe actually cut off Hershey. I think it was indirectly Pogača too, but I think it was Hershey right in front of him. Yeah.
And then, interestingly enough, just 20 seconds behind the leaders, there was a field sprint, and Matthew Van Der Poel won that field sprint for like 6th place.
Yeah, Van Der Poel was doing a lot of work to try to bring them back.
Was in the race.
Yep.
Yeah.
Embassy, where's
so
Wout?
On to the Euro. Yeah, I don't think Wout was in this race.
No, I don't think he was either.
But
no,
I'm not sure. But on to the Giro d'Italia. They have had 3 stages so far. The first stage was a time trial, and then there's been 2 other stages since then. The biggest news so far, Geraint Thomas, who had he put some time into all his rivals, and he was kind of gearing towards this, hoping that this is a Grand Tour that he could win. He did very well in the initial time trial. He stuck with everything on day 2, but this morning, day 3, he crashed and he didn't have to abandon, but he was not able to hang with the leaders at the very end when they climbed to the top of Mount Etna, and he lost 12 minutes. So he's now back in 50th place, and he might have just lost his chances at winning the Euro. So
now, didn't Peter Sagan do well and end up in the mountain jersey?
Yeah,
King of the Mountain.
After stage 2? Yeah,
was that yesterday?
I think it was after stage 2. Yeah,
yeah,
that's crazy.
Stage 2, there was kind of a mountain finish, but not real high, like only 4 points, not 20 points. And Sagan did well enough to win the King of the Mountain jersey, which he probably gave up today. But
I don't think he was in the last election.
Still, is that? I mean, we can't imagine that he's had many of those opportunities.
Guy's
in his
still
career.
I was gonna say, guy's still a great bike rider. I mean, he really is. Regardless of what people want to say about his Tour de France performance, that guy can still ride a bike fast.
Right. Rough tour for him because he didn't win a whole bunch of stages like he usually does. But
and even if that last max sprint of his is gone for the rest of the career compared to what he used to be, this guy still can go out there and hang with the best breaks. He can make moves. I mean, it's just, I think we're just seeing a changing of the guard at the very top end. But the guy's still going to be around for a while, in my opinion. He's still a very fast bike rider, no matter how you slice it.
I think it'll be interesting to see if his prep for next year's tour is different and if things are just different for him. I don't know. I mean, we'll see.
He just becomes a a purely one-day guy.
That'd be cool.
Just goes for classics and that's it. Yeah. I don't know. I would not want to be racing these young kids.
That's all I got for bike racing news. We talked about the London Marathon a little bit and Sarah Hall, her fantastic performance.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And
2:22. Is that what? Yeah,
I think so.
Like
because the winner was 2:18, and I think she was a couple minutes back. But
that's pretty legit.
That's very legit, especially on a not good day. I mean, it was rainy, cold, and it was a 19-lap course. 19 laps.
Wow.
You just lose your mind with right-hand turns at some point.
I don't know.
Ugh.
That's crazy.
God, too many turns.
Matt used to race the 10K. That's on a track. So
25 laps.
Yeah, but that's turn to the left. Turn to the left is way easier than turn to the right. Who turns to the right?
Turning right is very hard. It's very difficult.
You
for
lose
track
3
runners.
seconds a mile when you turn to the right compared to the left.
Anything else? Any triathlon news
Champ
for us?
Bailey. Champ Bailey is out.
There really wasn't any triathlon news, I don't think.
No triathlon news.
Nothing that I can think of, no.
I put out to the group, this video this week asking, this is when the Kona World Championships would have happened.
Yes.
Basically. When this video comes out, it would have been like a couple days prior to Kona, right? So it would have been like next weekend. So normally we'd be doing our triathlon takeover.
Oh my God, we would be.
Today would probably be a triathlon takeover with our predictions and all this stuff.
We'll have to this winter have a full takeover day then.
I don't know why we would. Why would we do it? We were not going to do a
There's
triathlon
no races.
takeover.
There's literally nothing to talk about.
Because, we've got no races this winter and there's no World Championships, we don't think. But anyway, the video that I put out this week was 2 videos, one for the girls and one for the guys, just talking about, like, who do you think would have won had there been a race?
Yeah.
And I kind of got some people calling me out on it. They were just like, this is a stupid question. And your answers are stupid. Like,
first off, not a stupid question. It's an awesome question. Your answers were stupid, but no,
I can kind of agree with the fact that my predictions weren't great, but
no, I think you were right on with Patrick Lange. I think you were 100% on with Lange
with not calling him in in my predictions.
I think Lange's going to be off the elite podiums. I love Allie Brownlee as the first because Allie's going to be mad from last year. I think he's mad, and that guy, when he commits to wanting to win something, has proven in his career he's going to win it. So,
Lionel Sanders was on my prediction list. I think I don't see that happening.
I just don't either. I don't think Cam Wurf or Lionel can do great in that race
really?
anymore because of
Cam
how
Wurf,
fast
I actually think should have been swapped out with Lionel Sanders for my picks.
Yeah, so the tough part with that prediction is that front swim pack is now strong cyclists. Which means if you're not near that front swim pack, it's going to be real hard to bridge that gap.
Right. With
Lance, I had to step out for a second. How did we go from bike racing to this?
Yeah.
What happened?
Who is this guy? I don't recognize this guy.
I already called Leadout News off, and then I just lost control completely.
Lost control of the podcast, Lance.
Sorry, I had to help somebody in the lab.
We were just talking about, like the fact that the Kona World Championship would have been this coming weekend.
Oh, are we talking about the videos that you put out?
Well, I did. I mentioned because I like to plug my videos where I can, and so I put out those 2 videos talking about predictions, and then Evan and I started talking about.
I liked your women's pick definitely.
Do you?
I still think Lucy's going to win.
Annie Hogg should have probably been in that top 3.
I think
She's
Lucy's
good.
going to win.
I didn't put Lucy to win.
You didn't
Daniela
put Lucy
Rife.
to win?
I put Daniela. Is it Reif?
Oh,
or
then
Rife?
we're definitely going to disagree on that. My
Rife,
bad. I thought I
Rife?
watched. Yeah.
I thought it was Rife.
Yeah.
But you think Lucy's going to win?
Oh, absolutely.
And you think Daniela's
dominant?
You think she's done?
Yeah, I think she's done off the podium.
And then I had Heather Jackson as my 3rd, only to put an American there, basically.
I like Heather, but it's a bold pick. I like it.
Yeah, it's a bold pick.
I like it.
Yeah,
cool.
Jake, you know what we need for the Dialed Cycling Lab? We need a big glowing red light that says on air.
Oh, yeah.
That we can put in the window so that people know. People should know that Mondays between 11:30 and about 1 is not the time to come to South Cycling Lab. We're all busy.
Yeah. I think
but that's okay.
it's posted up all over the place too. It says by appointment only, but people still like to come in, which is fine.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, it's good. But
honestly, it's good because if you think, this is a bike shop. It's good to have any people coming through and checking out stuff.
Sure, yeah,
it's super cool.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's good to see people.
Yes, sir.
And eventually, we're gonna have like a stadium set up here so people can cheer us on while we're podcasting. But I just don't know. The grandstands. We got to figure out how to get those built up in this area
live in front of a studio audience. The Dialed Podcast.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love it.
Good.
Cool. How about a Patreon update?
Oh yeah, Patreon.
No new Patrons, which is fine because we've got some awesome Patrons, and you know what we're gonna do? We're going to support those Patrons with a little drawing today.
Nice.
We're going to do a drawing. What do you guys see here?
Oh,
some
man,
Christmas
we're
socks.
already moving into Christmas socks.
From Sock Guy.
And they're
The
wool.
Sock Guy wool.
Those are nice.
They're
Those
nice
are very
cycling
nice.
socks that are Christmas specific. They've got like Christmas chain, Christmas trees, Christmas bikes. They're pretty stinking cool. So
They are nice.
picked up a bunch of these. I figured a bunch of people are going to want them for our ugly Christmas sweater rack coming up.
I can tell you I want them.
Yep.
They look good.
There's 3 different varieties to choose from as well. But we're going to do a drawing for our Patrons today. And somebody's going to get a pretty cool pair of socks. So how about we do this little, shake the little thing up here. All right. Who did last time, Evan? Or
No,
Evan's doing it right now.
I haven't done it in at least 2 weeks, which there's only 4 of us here. So Dove.
Dove, she won again.
Wait, she
I feel like I usually pick Dove, and I swear that's not for biased, but she is a very close friend.
But
of
we
mine,
are
so
biased.
yes.
We like Dove.
Well, Dove wins again.
Well, she'll like those socks. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Those are cool.
And
She
I do
will.
have.
And Ohio winters are much colder than here, so yeah.
I do have a
Dove
small
deserves
medium,
those, yeah.
small medium pair of socks if she needs them, or we can go the large, extra large as
Yeah,
well.
I think small, medium.
I'm pretty sure Dove's small, medium. Yeah.
So that's gonna be great.
If you are interested in becoming a patron of the Dial Podcast, go to dialpodcast.com. You will see the link there on our homepage, and you can click on that and go through and set yourself up for a Patreon ranking or level that works best for you. And we really appreciate that. We'll probably do another drawing maybe closer towards the end of the month around Halloween.
Okay.
So that should be a lot of fun. But for everybody who is a patron, thank you. It's awesome, and it really helps out. And yeah, we'll keep doing.
We definitely
this little podcast
appreciate
because of that.
the support. It's
Cool.
really helpful.
Awesome. All right. Our topic for today going to be the hot seat. I don't have those fancy buttons anymore. We're doing the hot seat, guys.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We need to
Hot seat. Oh, the people are they're so happy about that. Good times. Cool. So I'm going to start with Lance. And
that's good because mine was gonna be like Kona picks, or I should like redo my hot seat question because we already talked about that, and I don't think we want to talk about triathlon stuff. So,
Lance, what's your hot seat question for today?
Okay, this question came up when Jake and I were filming a YouTube video for the YouTube channel about mountain biking to be released some point in the future. But we had a question that we couldn't quite answer, and I wondered what you guys thought. Why do mountain bikers wear visor helmets?
It's a good question.
That's a great question.
Okay, so usually mountain bikers have visors on their helmets. Usually road bikers do not. Why do mountain bikers wear visor helmets?
Yeah, it's a good question too.
You're the wrong guy to ask, Matt.
Because more times than not, you've got sunglasses on, so it's not like you're trying to block out the sun. I think that's what conventional wisdom is going to tell you is, to keep the sun out of your eyes. But I can't remember too many times that I've been riding my mountain bike where the visor that I used to have on it way back in the day actually served any purpose. I mean,
I got a one-word answer for you, Lance.
What is it?
Tradition.
Tradition.
Okay.
Tradition.
And that's the only answer you need to know. This is what mountain bikers wear. And this is the sock length that you're supposed to wear when you're biking. This is the sock length you're supposed to wear when you're running.
Yeah.
This is tradition, and you need to stick with tradition.
Okay, that probably makes sense because if I'm racing, I'm not wearing a visor on my helmet. It's not aerodynamic. If I'm out riding with my mountain bike buddies, I'll wear my visor helmet because I want to fit in with the group.
Yep.
You know. But it's funny. I didn't know why they always did and why they didn't. Anyway.
Why would you think mountain bikers wear visors on their helmets, Evan?
The real answer is we don't know.
I don't know.
That's exactly right.
For when somehow an acorn falls from a tree and is gonna, I don't know, hit you in the mouth, and it somehow glances off the small, like, quarter-inch visor on top. I have no clue.
It does seem like it's purely aesthetic.
Yeah, because I mean, even crashing, it doesn't make sense. Like, I mean, it's not like the visor's gonna help you out if you're face planting. I don't know. Would the visor break a face plant?
Somebody needs to please respond and set us straight what we're missing here.
Yeah, some very experienced mountain biker, please tell us.
Might have to check with the old Google machine and see what the old Google machine has to say about that as well. But that's a really good question, Lance.
That sounds like tradition. sounds like us trying to explain, like, hey, why do road cyclists always got to shave their legs? Like, infection, aerodynamics. I don't know. They did it a long time ago.
Well, yeah, but I can come up with a bunch of reasons for that. And I've been riding mountain bikes for a while, and I just can't come up with a good reason why you should still have a visor on your helmet. There was a point in time, and I know that I come from more of a cross-country mountain bike background, and more times than not, the cross-country guys aren't really wearing visored helmets. But you still do see it in a lot of the all-mountain, the enduro, the downhill stuff. Those guys are still wearing visors, correct?
I would think so.
Yeah, that's correct.
I don't know. I think you guys might be onto something with that whole tradition thing. Cool.
According to Google, having a helmet with a visor can help in protecting the head and, most importantly, the eyes of a mountain bike rider in bad weather conditions. Even when the rider is on top speed, the rain won't interfere with the sight of the rider because of the visor. It keeps the eyes and scalp out of reach of rain and snow.
That's just not true.
Well, and there's nothing there that's like for cycling, right? Like any sort of on the road, it's not like you're not going to have rain and all the same. I don't know.
If anything, I would think. Go ahead.
People, it's perfectly fine to wear any helmet while you're riding a mountain bike.
I mean, as long as you're just wearing a helmet. Just wear a helmet.
Lance,
please wear a helmet.
Lance, you're feeling pretty good about wearing helmets on all your rides?
I do wear helmets on almost all my rides.
Almost all my rides.
Yeah.
And when you don't, people call you out.
And when I don't,
call it the helmet patrol.
I get hate mail. Like you wouldn't believe when I don't.
That's got to be your favorite Instagram response, is somebody being like, Lance, wearing a helmet decreases your risk of. They
don't see that I'm going like 7 miles an hour, like on a dirt trail.
Oh, that's just not true. We know that's not true.
Evan, what's your hot seat question for us today?
My hot seat question for us today is, and this is going back to the Giro, as Champ was talking to us earlier. If Geraint does not crash today, is he – so for one, who is winning your Giro is basically the question, and that's obviously leading into if Geraint did not crash today. Because I feel like with Geraint crashing today, nobody's picking him. So
wait, I missed that. He crashed today?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, you missed. You'll have to go back and listen when the podcast is released on Wednesday.
On Wednesday, yes.
Dang it. Better maybe go watch the actual Giro.
There was a bottle dropped through a neutral zone, and he rode directly over it and slid out and had a bad crash and lost 12 minutes. So
12 minutes?
Not from the crash, but as
was it 12 minutes or more?
It was a lot of minutes.
No, it was 12. So what happened was he crashed in the neutral zone before the race actually started.
Mm-hmm.
He stuck with the group for the whole race until it got very difficult at the very end for the final climb of the day, and that's where he lost 12 minutes.
Yep.
But he was 12 minutes down from the leaders, so he lost time on his main rival.
Interesting.
I don't know. Go ahead, Jake.
I was going to say, so the question is who's going to win the Giro?
Yep.
Go for it, Lance.
Nibali, Brandon McNulty from the U.S., Fuglsang, Kelderman. I don't know.
You have a pick, Matt?
It's a big, giant question.
I don't even know who the favorites are at this point.
You can always go with the Italian. Just go with Nibali. I think Nibali's Trek squad is looking really strong, and he is.
You think?
I
He's
think
a minute
so.
down.
Yeah.
He's in sixth. He's a minute down.
Stage 3. He's got
it's
plenty
early.
of.
It's so early.
Yeah.
Sure. Fine. Vincenzo Nibali. That's fine.
Oh, geez.
Brandon McNulty would be that'd be amazing if we could get an American winning the Giro again.
He's a minute and 11 down in 8.
Yeah.
I haven't been paying attention. I haven't even cracked the book on looking at the Giro this year.
Yeah.
Just for curious sake, asking, is
Yeah.
Froome there or no?
No.
Did he? He didn't even go to the Giro.
No.
Huh?
His goal is going to be the Vuelta, I believe.
Oh, he's okay.
I think is going to be. I think Ineos was throwing their cards behind G for the Giro.
Kruijswijk, what do we think about?
Kruijswijk for Jumbo didn't look nearly as dominant as they did in the Tour, but that's
Right.
also because this
The
is their
team's not there.
This
right?
is their B squad. Yeah,
Tom Dumoulin's not there, right?
I do not believe so. No.
Because
No.
he would be a person to pick.
Yeah,
I think
I
that
would.
He's tired from
I
the
would for
tour.
sure.
I would think.
be picking Tommy D if he was there
Tommy
over
D.
even Nibali. Yeah.
I don't even have an answer for you. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I need to go look it
We'll
up.
see. We'll see as the Giro progresses. Then.
Yeah. Two good questions. No good answers, at least from this guy. Cool. Matt, did you come up with a question yet?
I've got 2 questions.
Okay.
Just like that.
Hit them both.
Okay. First one, and I want to make a video with my wife at some point on bike maintenance, and I need bike maintenance ideas from you guys. So that could be something. I don't want to do change a flat. I think that's been done so many times or whatever. But potentially, I wouldn't mind doing something along the lines of things you should check before you start your ride. But I'm open to other ideas too. Like, is there something else that that we could do where she could be on camera and be asking questions that I think normal people would ask as you kind of do these maintenance videos. So, idea for maintenance video to do with the wife. What do you got?
Well, you think that changing a tire is a little too low-hanging fruit. I think that there's a lot of things about changing a tire that people just don't know. I mean, they'll learn the basics, but I can give you at least 4 or 5 good tips on changing a flat that are going to pay dividends down the road. They might save you some headache and they might save you some hassle.
That's true.
And
it's kind of the most common scenario too. So
bike maintenance, though, I would probably think the next biggest thing would probably be understanding when your brakes maybe need to be changed, because it's pretty important that you know how to stop. So there's that.
Stopping is good.
And then not spending a bunch of money on having to buy new drivetrain components because you let your chain stretch too far or you let your drivetrain get too dirty. Those are big culprits right there of people bringing bikes in and, oh, gee, I didn't realize that it was stretched twice as long as it should be, and all of a sudden I have to buy a new cassette and new chain rings now.
Yeah.
Those are some basic things.
You do see a lot of probably neglected bikes.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
That's a good point.
And generally speaking, it's because people just don't know better, and they don't even know that chains stretch. I've had that chain on there for 5 years. It's not good anymore.
Right.
I just got that chain 5 years ago. No.
Well,
you're riding 2,000 or 3,000 miles a year, and it was done a long time ago.
Well, I could we could swap out her chain too, which is probably over 5 years old.
Yep.
I mean, and so
That'd
she
probably be one
rides
of
her
your
bike
best,
occasionally, and so it would be great to.
I think another
clean it up
good
a little
one
bit.
that we'll just have to watching Lance what was it, Thursday or Friday, Lance, when you were having to change out the bearings.
Yeah. I was changing some bearings on a difficult wheel that we weren't exactly sure how to do, and we were just it worked out perfectly. It just worked out perfectly. We just had to be creative on how to get them out.
Lance
and
loosened
get them back
it.
in.
Yeah, Lance loosened it for sure. But that's interesting because there's also a proprietary tool that goes with that, which would be cool. And Jake's the pro at that. But yeah, that's.
Yep. Do you guys have any other tips for Matt and his lovely bride to do on video?
God, what would be a cool one?
Checking the headset, I think, is a pretty important.
The headset,
making sure that your bar and your stem are nice and torqued down. How to use a torque wrench, I think, would be very functional.
How to use a torque wrench would be good. Yeah, I do love my torque wrench.
It's pretty basic, but a lot of people you say torque wrench and they get scared.
They have no idea how to use a torque wrench.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Also, what is a torque wrench? Because I bet a lot of people don't actually know what a torque wrench is.
That'd be cool.
Newton meters.
Yeah. Yeah. What is Newton meters as a measurement?
I do think that the easiest. Everybody has questions about changing flats, and everybody has different ways to do that. That just seems like to go through that process. It would be that's a good one to do.
Yeah, I think tires in general, they serve a bunch of different things that you can talk about. You can talk about looking at the wear on rim brakes. You can talk about tire selection and what's going to be good for this time of year that we're going into versus the summertime. talking about rolling resistance and proper tire pressure. There's a lot of things just in the wheels
Right.
that you can really dig into, and I think that learning how to properly change a flat and some different things to look into, I think that that's a really good place to go.
All right, next question for you, which is a little bit more technical. Can you trust your elevation data that you're getting either from your bike computer or, I'll leave it at that, from your bike computer
No.
or your watch? No.
Absolutely not.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, we got 2 no's.
Definitely not from the watch.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
It's close-ish, but it's never right on. It's never going to be right on because most watches or bike computers work off of barometric pressure readings,
Right.
and the weather can change barometric pressure readings, which messes with the elevation.
And
Yep.
Evan did a Century ride this weekend.
Mhm.
Weather conditions should have changed in that 5-hour period.
Oh,
5
yeah,
and
it
a
went
half.
from very foggy to very sunny,
Yeah.
cold to warmer. Yeah.
So I would expect your elevation data to be off.
Probably. I think it had us down at like 5,500 or something like that.
But
yeah.
then Strava should correct that stuff. Should we trust Strava?
I think
Strava would be the most accurate.
You can, because they use like a accumulation of a bunch of different data that's input to them from different devices, and I think that they look at like elevation maps and all this stuff. So
Yeah.
I think that they've got
more trustworthy.
I think so, yeah, because you can hit that elevation correction. Something that happens pretty frequently here in the Pacific Northwest, it rains, right? And when it does rain, water will get up into that barometric pressure sensor, and it will basically screw you.
That's really,
I've done rides where I know that I've done like 4,000 feet of climbing, and you come back and it says you've done like 900 feet. And you're like, well, obviously that's not right. So once you get it uploaded, you know that you want to correct that. You go into Strava and you hit the correct elevation. Hit that, it gives it 30 seconds, and it will give you the appropriate readout. So
And you used to only be able to do that on a web browser-based Strava page, but now you can adjust that elevation right from the app. That was in one of their latest updates, which
I did not know that.
fantastic.
That is excellent.
That is huge.
Yeah, that's a
So 4 for 4 are saying don't trust your elevation data from your computer. Sadly, it's as accurate as it can be, but barometric pressure changes.
Yeah.
And then we're all saying we trust Strava's elevation details more than we trust our computers.
I think so. So let me ask you guys a question.
Seems fair.
First of all, have you ever gone and corrected your elevation on Strava?
Yes.
I have not.
I only
That
do
doesn't
it.
surprise me.
I should have.
Yeah. I only do it if I'm trying to hit some number or something. I don't do it very often.
Yeah. Lance, have you?
I probably do it twice a week at least.
Okay,
No,
so
I adjust it.
here's part
Yeah.
B to that question. You go in there and you update it, and it takes away elevation. Do you go back and revert it back to the original?
Absolutely.
No, I
real.
don't. I just leave it. I'm like, okay, that was a mistake, and I move on.
So, and there are, well, it used to be a lot worse back in the time. There were certain devices and certain, I think, apps that would kind of screw up the elevation. And I know of one person, I'm not going to throw out their names, that lived in Southern California, and his elevation on average would be double what it normally was.
Yeah.
And he loved to pound his chest about the fact that he climbed a million feet in a year. I'm like, dude, you know full well. I went on a ride with you, and we did 3,000 feet, and yours says over 6,000.
Yeah.
We did the exact same ride, and I hit the elevation correction on mine, and it was like maybe even dropped it down to 29.
Yeah.
It's like best bike computer ever.
Yeah.
So this one tells me
it's like
the
I'm setting
information I
Strava
wanted.
records over here. Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of funny. So, all right. Those were good questions. I like that.
Sure.
Cool. You guys want my question?
Yep.
Yeah, it's Jake's.
What you got for us?
Best practices for relieving oneself while out on a ride.
Ooh, good question. Can you go while you're riding and not stop? I've never even.
I've done it once, but it was during a triathlon. Does that
in a
count?
race.
Yeah. I mean, I even learned how to run and pee, which was hard. That was
That is
actually
hard.
to continue running and pee yourself was like, that took some serious like concentration. You had to like really hone in and be like, okay, I gotta focus for a second here. Yeah.
I feel like I've done all that too. Sadly.
So you can look at this from a couple different scenarios. I think it's pretty obvious that if you're out in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
and you've got to go, you can just go water a tree or a bush that looks a little parched, right?
Yeah.
So let's say you get into an area where it's like maybe a little bit of residential, maybe a little bit of commercial, but there's no bathrooms around, and you've got to go. What do you do?
Okay, so this happened to me the other day. I should not admit to any of this. I went back behind behind an office type building. There was a dumpster back there that was pushed up against the grass and stuff. So I was peeing in the grass or whatever, but I was covered from traffic by the dumpster area, like the trash dumpster area. That was fine. I mean,
oh yeah, it's perfectly fine.
It was very publicly. It was in a very public area. Kind of like, I think it was kind of. And I haven't been biking that far recently, so it was kind of like 164th area. So it's like lots of traffic down there.
That is a very public area.
Yeah, it was very public area, but there was like office building, and you're around back behind that, and then there was like grassy area where the dumpsters were, and so I felt like it wasn't, gross or anything like that. It was just,
legally though, that's public urination, correct?
Yes.
You can get ticketed for that.
In fact, and I've admitted to it on recording here, so I'm gonna probably
hypothetically
after the cops arrest Lance at Walmart, they're coming for me.
Yeah.
So there's that.
I had oh man, I can't believe I'm going to tell this story on here because this is bad. This is real bad. But during a Matt has, I'm sure, been in this situation before, and so there was an Ohio winter that was a ton of snow one year. And I was on a run, and I used to do neighborhood loops, but the neighborhood could loop as far as 5-10K away from home.
Yeah.
And had an emergency need to go, not number one, number two situation.
Those are bad.
And on a run, any runner here knows this is not a situation sometimes where you can, there's a decision time where it's like, okay, this is you're within 60 seconds of something bad happening. So I went in the neighborhood that I lived in at that time to somebody's front yard tree off to the side a little bit. Went there, ran back home, picked up a bag, like I was walking my dog basically, and came back and cleaned it up at least. But
at least you cleaned up after yourself.
I don't even know what I would have gotten charged with from the I'm sure they just would have taken me to the clinker at that point. They would have been like, that's 5 to 10, I think. At least. I think that's 5 to 10 goes on your permanent record.
Yeah. So if people are
wait. Evan pooped in somebody's front
yard.
Hey, Smokey, what you doing in the bushes over there?
Lance, I think that's
I love that.
That's the most scared I've ever been in my life that somebody's going to walk out of their house. Never have I ever been that terrified. I don't even know how do you explain that?
You can't explain it.
What do you say? You're just like, I'm so sorry.
No, you just say, do you have a newspaper or something I can read for a minute?
How did you clean yourself?
Snow. Worked great.
Really?
It was better than toilet paper, honestly.
Was it refreshing?
Snow's good.
It was actually very refreshing. Kind of chilly.
Usually
chilly.
Pucker up there?
Pretty puckered, yeah.
Usually it's like leaves and stuff like that.
Yeah, usually leaves do a good job.
Not good. It's not great.
I mean, they do as good of a job as you can do in that situation. Well, unless it's fall and they're really old leaves, and then that can be bad.
Well, and
Did
then
you pack it into little squares?
No, but I did come back and clean it up, which I thought was the funniest part.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah.
So
did you disgust your own self when you're cleaning it up?
Oh, it was terrible. Yeah. Oh.
You're like, there's a sick animal in your front lawn, and I'm taking care of it.
Yeah. I almost, if they were going to come out and be like, hey, I'm so sorry, my dog pooped in your yard. I'm cleaning it up now. And they'd be like, you don't own a dog. I'd be like, yeah, okay.
Right.
They're gonna like, oh, wait a second. Let me show you the nanny cam video I have of what just went down.
My Ring doorbell doesn't say.
They're like, that is not the video that we just uploaded to the internet.
I so hope that person actually has video evidence of that. So that way, if I ever run for office, I'm definitely not getting elected. It'll be like, yeah.
Can I just come to your rescue a little bit and just say, since this is a cycling podcast, if runners are listening to this, they
completely understand.
They all understand.
And they've all been there. Yep.
And the cyclists are like, what's the matter with you?
Yeah.
And,
no, it's very real.
But runners have this problem because you're basically bouncing and jumping the whole time, and your stomach gets upset very, very frequently.
It's literally called runner's irritable bowel syndrome. Is an actual diagnosis. That is a thing.
Yeah. What very commonly you'll end up with diarrhea, basically.
Yeah. It's a bad situation.
It's a bad situation.
So if you just can't stop, and there's no stopping it, and you're in the middle of anywhere, I mean, seriously, what do you do? I mean, are you going to jail because you have something that was uncontrollable, or do you think a doctor's going to write you a note saying, sorry, you got to let him off this one, man. I'm sorry you pooped in your yard, but...
Well, I used to have back in Ada, which is very rural, there was a guy who I used to run with cross country all the time. I'll even say his name because he'll joke about it all the time. Tobias would, we would be 10K into any run, wouldn't matter the run, and he would just sprint off the side of the road.
Yeah,
crap in the woods and then run back.
I have a friend. Same thing, and he would just lose his socks. He would just be like, "Those are socks. Socks are gone."
It's so
socks
terrible.
Are gone.
But that's another follow-up question with this for cyclists is cyclists are obviously dealing with number one usually.
Yeah.
Have you ever been on a bike ride where number two becomes an issue?
No.
I've personally not, but that's
I haven't either.
You know, I've heard of cyclists who have had that problem.
Because if
Tom
you bike
DeMille
every
on.
day.
Yeah.
Does anybody remember?
Tommy G, back in the
Was
tour.
that,
Like
was that
about
the
3
tour?
years ago?
Yeah.
That was the tour last year?
No, it's probably like 2 or 3 years ago.
And that
It wasn't
poor,
that long
and that
ago.
poor guy, they got it on camera.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, they're like, "Oh no, Tommy must have a mechanical. He's pulling over," and then it's, oh my god, like Phil Liggett during that's gold from Phil Liggett. When Phil Liggett retires, it's gonna be a top 5 announcing moment of his career where he goes, oh dear, oh never mind, this is rough. This is rough to watch, and he's like, the camera's not pulling away, and Phil is just announcing. He's just announcing Tom. He's like, oh, he's having a hard time right now. He's having a very bad time. As Tom like desperately pulls down his bib shorts to just lay a deuce right next to a sign right off the side of the road, and like his team car even pulls up next to him, like the guy's like jumping off, like ready to get the bike. He's like, oh wait, never mind, and then Tom just pulls him back up, jumps back on the bike, and he's gone.
Oh, poor guy.
So
it's terrible.
Again, best practices. You got to go. There's nowhere to go that's like a bathroom.
Yeah.
What do you do? I mean, people will tell you to hold it, but I mean, you get to a point sometimes where it's like, all right, I'm gonna pee myself.
We're all
right now.
humans. Yeah. There's.
So you just. What do you do?
If there's okay, so we should throw out
take a knee. Actually,
take a knee is a great idea.
I've done. I mean, you probably have cross country runners who have done that before races when you get the nervous pee and there's too many people in the line.
And running shorts are great because it's easy, but biking shorts are a lot more difficult.
They are
to take the knee, but so you do the take the knee option. That's possible.
You could maybe take one bib arm off.
I want to throw out something horrible.
Yeah.
What if you just pee yourself?
I mean.
I've never gotten to that point, but
we're not
that's a possibility.
triathletes here. We're not savages.
But that's what I'm saying. Triathletes, right?
Okay.
Triathletes, if you're racing,
you just pee yourself. Yeah.
You pee yourself.
Are you doing that on or off the bike? You're just going to stand there and like wet yourself.
No.
Or are you going to just do it while you're riding?
You do
on a group training ride.
This is a horrible conversation. We should not be having this, but I basically wait till we have a downhill, and then I stand up.
Ooh, smart.
And I pee myself,
Sure.
and it all goes down one particular leg.
Yep.
You try to do non-drive side, drive train side.
Very smart.
Yep. Because you really need to clean your bike as soon as possible afterwards. And it honestly happens in every Ironman race. You're not going to make it that long without peeing yourself.
That's a very long time.
And you can, and honestly, like, there's so many people that'll be like, just stop and use all the porta potties. That's great. I have no problem with my competition stopping for 3 minutes at a porta potty,
so that I can get a 3-minute gap on them while I'm peeing myself.
But you're gaining time, and you should actually have to pee yourself because you should be hydrating.
You absolutely should.
So it's a horrible situation. Now, what you're referring to is like this is just a normal training ride, and I think if you're in a situation where you're really stuck and you're really in a bad place, then maybe you pee yourself. Because then you can clean your stuff, you can clean your clothes, you can wash your bike off. All that stuff is no big deal. Getting arrested is a big deal.
Yep, I don't disagree.
So I do have a very funny story about a French kid who I used to race with, who I think I've talked about in this podcast before, Florian. And
Florian.
Did I tell the story where he just basically peed in public in Ada, Ohio?
Yeah.
Yeah, and during a race once, he had a very bad name with the race organizers, which made our team we were this little rebels team of everybody over the age of 20.
The P team.
Everybody under the age of 25 who just made races terrible, and we had this French kid on our team that everybody hated. I loved Florian; he was great, but he at the very start of a race once, it was still new. The race was still neutral, and the guy on the motorbike was pulling up towards the back. And Florian goes over, grabs onto the motorbike, and goes, "Hey, I need to take I forget what he called it. It was some French term for I need to go take a pee." And then basically he just while riding uses a certain technique that gets outside and was holding onto the motorbike while he was peeing.
Whips it out.
Yeah, peeing out of the side. Motorbike guy did not like it very much at all. Became an issue the rest of the race. Somehow didn't pull him out of the race. Florian finished second. Good day for Florian. But
wow.
I think
that's a thing in European racing, though, is they will try to, like Matt saying, while they're on the bike, but it's very coy.
I also think that your friend was probably just a crazy person.
Florian was absolutely a crazy person.
Yeah.
He was, yeah.
I think for me, it's not that I have like bladder issues or whatnot. I just drink a lot of fluids.
Yeah.
And I know myself, and I know how my body basically wants to keep a certain balance between like how much fluid's in you and how much needs to be out.
Pressure is a thing,
yeah, and you're getting out there and you're, especially like group rides and team rides where it's going to be a little bit spirited, you kind of get in that fight or fight or flight syndrome thing going on, and it just causes you to need to pee.
Yeah.
I know myself. I know what I need to do to get it out, but still sometimes it's going to be an issue. So for me, it's like know your routes and know where you can do it. Because like if I'm out on a ride and I've got my half dozen different rides that I'll do very regularly, I can tell you every single spot that you can go and get away with it.
In the first 20 minutes.
I used to have like at every race, I would know secret bathrooms to go to before, because right before your race, you have to go to the bathroom. And so I would and then I would teach the younger people on my team, like, here are the secret bathrooms for this race.
Yeah.
Like, don't tell anyone. You can tell a handful of people, but like you can't, otherwise you're in line with 100 people at the same time before the race, and you're either going to miss your race or poop your pants. All good options.
The only time so far in my absolutely underperforming career as a professional triathlete that card meant anything to me was right before Chattanooga. I needed to pee bad.
Yeah.
And there was a long line before this portal.
Right.
Our start time was literally 30 minutes before everybody else's. I went up the line and said to everybody, I'm starting in 5 minutes. Do you guys mind if I pee? Walked up the line, asked everybody. They were all fine with it except for one guy. One guy was not okay with it, and I ignored him and went anyway. Still don't feel good about that. But yeah, that was sometimes in big city races, there are not secret bathrooms. There was no secret bathroom in Chattanooga.
Yeah, this was like Alabama.
Way different.
There are secret bathrooms, yes.
Yeah, if you're doing a downtown criterium in a cycling race, probably no secret bathrooms.
Yeah, and if you're a group ride, team ride, whatever, a big ride, go sprint out the front, and just hopefully people like Evan don't chase you down. And
exactly. I get yelled at
every time.
Cool. I've got one other quick question, and then we'll call it a wrap on this whole topic. This stems from me having a dermatologist appointment this morning, and she's looking me over, and she's like, "Oh, I see that you've got some nice tan lines on you." I'm like, yeah, I ride outside. She's like, you're using your sunscreen? I'm like, yeah. She's like, have you considered wearing any additional like protective clothing gear kind of stuff that's SPF, proof and yada, yada, yada? I'm like, no, not really. But she took it upon herself to even go and like print out a form with this particular bike company or this manufacturer stuff and whatnot. So my question is, do you guys use anything above and beyond sunscreen for UV protection?
No. And I should, because I'm super pale. Yeah. And Lance, you're out there a lot. I mean, maybe we should start looking at our options.
Yeah,
especially in Utah.
I've seen them. Like even the rides I'm doing all around here are over 4,000 feet in elevation, or in some cases get up to 10,000 feet at elevation around here. And it's warm, and so. Even you can wear these white arm warmers that help protect you sun protection, but I just haven't.
Yeah, I mean, even like our bibs and our jersey, our kit, if you will, like I'll have bib tan lines on my back because the jerseys are so thin and the sun's going right through them. So are we just sitting here absorbing all these UV rays and are we going to die of like skin cancer? And I've got family history of melanoma, so I need to be careful of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Thankfully my appointment went well today, and she said I'll see you again in a year, and she didn't take anything off of me like she normally does. But
I kind of worry about my nose.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like this spot that's just there collecting so much sun.
Yep.
And maybe we should use thicker sunscreen. I mean, obviously, like I could go bust out the zinc strips kind of thing and just like full on.
Look like a full on Fred.
Whatever. I mean, maybe that's what I need to do, but I haven't thought about maybe like an undershirt that would cover if there's something.
Like I actually started wearing a base layer, even unless it's really hot outside, from Castelli, just to help wick away some wet. And it actually keeps you cool because like that sweat that gets in there and the wind blows over, it keeps you warm anyway. Yeah. I've got that, but a couple spots that she told me to pay attention to, I didn't even think about it. She's like, the back of your ears. She's like, you've got a couple freckles on the back of your ears and you're getting a lot of sun back there, and then your neck. So I don't know. I was just kind of curious if you guys did anything for UV protection.
Yeah.
I figure that my just golden brown Mediterranean skin can handle it.
Sure.
I'm being very sarcastic, by the way, on this. Everybody, does not matter what your genetic makeup is. You are still at risk.
Gotcha. Cool. Let's call that a wrap unless anybody else has any other random questions. All good? All right. Consensus is we're good. We're moving on. One last thing. Lance, one last thing, bud.
I was just going to talk about the Belgian waffle ride that's happening on the 17th of October in Cedar City, Utah. I think it's like a gravel race. It's like 60% gravel, 40% road. There's a 130-mile option and a 85-mile option. Let's see if it actually still happens. It is very rural Utah, so the rules are a little bit different with COVID restrictions, but there still will be regulations in place and face coverings we'll have to wear and whatnot. But
I heard they haven't even released the routes yet. They're playing all that stuff pretty tight to the vest.
They actually, Belgian Waffle Ride changes the route every year, and they don't release the routes until right before the race, I do believe.
Unless you pay the $200 to go to the pre-release party or something like that, and you get the routes early.
Yeah, so it's always a little bit of a surprise. Yeah.
Nice, cool. Good luck at that, Evan. One last thing.
I probably need a new bib shorts.
New bib shorts.
So if anybody knows anybody, yeah.
Okay. Are you just gonna get some dialed bib shorts?
Yeah, definitely.
Good.
Definitely.
Good plan.
Mm-hmm.
Consider getting the gravel bibs. Super nice.
Oh yeah, you like
even
them?
for
have
the road
pocket too.
They have the
which is
extra
actually
pocket.
kinda nice.
Oh yeah, they've got
the extra pockets
on the thighs, and then they got pockets on the low back too, like extra secret.
So good.
Oh,
yeah.
I like it.
But when you look at
all
them,
the nutrition,
when you look at them, you don't notice the pockets on the thigh, so they're like kind of like stealthy. Yeah, they're pretty solid.
So your clothes got trashed in your fall a little bit.
Not too bad trash, but I just need new bib shorts. Anyway.
Those are going to get moved to the indoor.
They're getting moved, yeah.
To move down down the line.
I rode I had an old team jersey back in the day that had literally a hole in the back that at that time I could not really afford a new team jersey, so I wore that for a season. I would just ride around with a hole in my back.
That's funny. Cool. Matt?
Okay, I mentioned the 2 Kona predictions videos that are posted to YouTube. You guys can go up and check those out. But this Wednesday, the day that this podcast is released, I'm going to try to time a video, which is always hard for me to do because I've got to do the work to get the video done, with the announcement of this brand new watch from Polar, and it's called the Polar Vantage V2. It will be announced on Wednesday. The video should go live on Wednesday as well. And it's a triathlon-specific watch. It's kind of their top-of-the-line new triathlon watch. And it's a pretty nice-looking watch as well.
Yeah.
So look for that video to come out that day. And, I've swam with it. I've biked with it. I've run with it. I'm pretty excited about the video that I'm going to put together. So it should be decent. And then I also will be able to compare it to a whole bunch of other watches that are on the market, including watches from Garmin as well as other watches from Polar. So, yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. We'll see.
If you, as a triathlete, not having all these watches coming your way to try out, all that fun stuff, and you were to go out and buy a watch right now, are you going to buy yourself a Garmin or are you going to buy yourself a Polar? Or do I need to watch the video to find out?
No, I think that's a great question. I have done a video recently comparing the Garmin 945 to the Polar Grit X, which the Polar Grit X is very similar to this watch here. This one's a little bit more geared towards triathletes, but I would still lean towards Garmin. I think that they are just slightly ahead of Polar at the time that we're at right now. I hope that Polar catches up. I do feel, everyone, all these YouTubers are like, I'm not biased.
Yeah.
I'm not biased. And that's a lie because I like Polar. I like, and it's not necessarily their devices or whatever. The people that work there are nice. They are like just super helpful with everything. And if you're reviewing these products, guess what? The people that are nice to you, you're going to have a slight bias towards that particular product.
Sure.
So I want Polar to do well. I want the company to do well. They're also kind of that underdog situation.
Yeah.
But right now, I think the Garmin stuff is better. So
Gotcha.
That's what I would choose. There's also like Apple Watches, which I think all of us don't really even consider because they're not really active sports watches. They're smart watches, but they have some active features. Oh, wait. Lance has got himself an Apple Watch.
Yep. I like the Apple Watch. I think they're cool. They do a lot of cool things. The knock for me and the deal breaker for me is the battery life.
Battery life is bad.
They last for like a day and a half, right?
Yeah. You got about a day.
Correct. That's about it.
Yeah. My Phoenix 6 lasted me for 10 days.
Yeah.
Super
simple.
And
so the Polar heart rate it's not Apple bad, but it's not quite as good as Garmin. I would say it's somewhere in between. So 7 days as opposed to like 10 to 14. So it's good. And I haven't done official testing, which I will because I'm going to review this watch for Wednesday, but then I'll also do a 100-day video, kind of like I've used this for 100 days.
Sure.
Here's what I think now. So I will do like a more in-depth battery test and kind of compare it to Garmin. Right now, this one's doing really well. I haven't really charged it up much, and I've had it for at least half a week or so. It's at 50%. So I think that that's reasonable. I still probably give the edge on battery life to Garmin at this point.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
When are you and your buddy DC Rainmaker going to do a collab video?
When he goes to visit his brother in Seattle.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
So whenever that happens, we'll get together and do something. But it may never happen because he's got 200,000 followers and I have a couple. I have.
Did you crack 4K?
You guys.
Yep.
Not yet.
You got like 4,000 almost.
Close.
Almost 4,000.
If you do a video with him, what kind of boost do you think you would get out of that?
I don't know. It might not be much. I mean,
for those
I just
that
want
don't,
to do it because I think it would be fun to do one with him.
Yeah. For those that don't know but do know who DC Rainmaker is, he's been commenting on Matt's videos.
Yeah. Ray from DC Rainmaker has been checking out my videos and following, and he'll say funny stuff, which is good because he's actually pretty hilarious. He just has a very dry sense of humor.
When he's on camera, yeah.
And I actually really like him quite a bit. I think he's fun to follow. Yeah. He actually puts out...
He's a pretty big fanboy of yours, I think.
I like his stuff, too. I'm more of a fan of his than he is of mine. We'll say that because he's kind of a star. But he puts out he's putting out 3 to 7 videos per week, and I'm putting out 1.
Yeah, but he's probably got an editor. He's probably got a production team. He's probably got he just has to sit behind a camera and do reviews.
He probably has an editor.
It's also his full-time job. Too.
It's also his full-time job.
I think that's all he does.
But he also has 3 kids. So he's got 3 girls, I think.
Yeah. So that takes up 2-3 hours a week.
Yeah.
Right.
Kids don't take up any time.
Me and Matt were just talking about that.
We have no idea.
Cool. Thanks, Matt.
Yep.
My one last thing is 2 one last things. One's going to be kind of for me, and one's going to kind of be for Dialed. We'll call it the team. So we'll start with the team one first. We've got Bikes for Kids stuff coming up. We've talked about that. We've got
that's a good one.
Our ugly Christmas sweater ride coming up on December 5th, which will be the first Saturday in December. If I'm incorrect on that date, but I'm pretty sure it's the 5th. Sure. So we just partnered up with Tangent Coffee Roasters, who is a local coffee company, and I think we mentioned this last week, and we've got it all set. We've actually got bags of coffee down here at the lab, and Tangent Coffee Roasters is going to be supplying us with all kinds of coffee as much as we need, and we are selling coffee, and all 100% of the proceeds are going to our Bikes for Kids. So I can think we crunched the numbers, and I think if we sell 60 bags of coffee, which isn't a big ask because I've already sold about 15 in the last week, if we sell 60, that will buy a kid a brand new Cannondale bike. It will buy them a brand new Giro helmet, and it will buy them a brand new bike lock, and we will do all the builds ourselves. Nice. So that's kind of a cool little way for us to raise even more money. We'll have our GoFundMe campaign for it, and there's going to be a couple of little things that we're going to try and do as well that will be cool little fundraisers. So
it smells just a little bit like coffee in the lab here, and it's fantastic. It smells so good.
It smells nice.
Yeah. I want decaf, so
I will ask them for you.
I have high hopes.
Yeah. I don't know if they do or don't, but I will definitely ask. And if they, I think somebody else asked me about that as well.
Oh, really?
So if they have that, I'll definitely get you some. The other one last thing for me personally, well, it's kind of almost a me and Lance thing. We made another video. So I said last week, we'll put out our new video, and we had our new video come out last Wednesday, which was the day the podcast was released, and that was for our Alpine Challenge e-bike deal. We're still kind of working out little kinks. You kind of learn these things as you go, like different settings and, camera settings to microphone settings and putting it all together. I mean, it's a long process.
It is a pain in the butt.
Yeah. It's fun, and I love all this stuff, but there's so many little tiny things that can change things dramatically. So anyway, we're going to be putting out our next video this week, and it should, fingers crossed, because I've got most of it done, come out about the same time as the podcast on Wednesday, and that will be our review of the BMC 4-stroke 012. So
that's a nice little ride, nice whip there.
Yep. And Matt actually helped us with that as well. We got a little bit of footage on
video.
That Matt came out and helped us out with, which was a lot of fun.
I have a question for you. Is your plan to put out videos on a certain regular basis, like once every other week or something? What's the plan? Or you don't know?
I know you told us to start small, like maybe every other week, and then kind of
don't listen to me, man.
So that you can give them more as opposed to taking away. I think at least through the winter and into the spring before things kind of get crazy nuts again, I think our goal is going to be to put out one a week. Lance and I have finished, how many is it, Lance? 6? I think
we've done 6.
6 videos, and then
I'm going to have to.
Go ahead.
I'm going to have to make a trip home so that me and Jay can film a few more videos.
Oh yeah.
I have to run around round through there so that we can keep up with it.
Yeah, we finished 4 in the last 2 days before Lance checked out. So that's going to give us a little bit of, or buy us a little bit of time, and we did a few more before that too. So I think it was 6. And then I've got some smaller ones, kind of like talking about the stuff that you were talking about with like changing a flat, just some like simple little things.
Stuff.
So
I'm excited about that.
You know, just want to have like, hey, here's a quick tip on this, and there's like the standard way to do it, and then here's a couple different ways to skin that cat, and just to give people a little bit more depth and make them think about it in a different fashion, so that it's just not a situation where like, oh, crap, I shouldn't have done that because it did this. So if I can help people with that, then that's the plan.
That's awesome. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it should be fun. And I know there's a million of them out there, but we want to have people have a place where they can go and just have that be a resource. And it's stuff that we can use on our website and so on and so forth.
So if you guys do want to check that out, they can go where? YouTube.com?
Yeah, Dialed Cycling.
Search for Dialed Cycling on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't think we actually have enough followers yet to actually be able to get. I think you have to hit 100.
100.
Yeah, and we've probably got like 30 or 40 or something like that.
So if you guys are listening to this, you should subscribe. But in addition to that, there's the notification thing that you need to turn to all, because otherwise it just defaults you to personalized, which means they're going to randomly send you some notifications.
Yeah.
You want to switch it to all so that you'll be notified of whenever Jake posts new videos.
Yep. So
that's important.
Yeah, and I think we're going to be doing some videos for Evan too, but stay tuned for that. So.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, that I think is a wrap. Thank you again, guys. Hope you have a great rest of your week. Lance, safe travels, bud. You still there?
I'm still here. Thank you.
I think your video cut out, but we're staring at Lance over video like Matt was saying earlier, but we can hear him. So we will see you soon. Good luck at your race in 3 weeks, and then your gravel grinder, whatever you do with the Belgian waffle ride, in 2 weeks, I think it is, and hopefully we'll see you back in town sooner than later. So, and to everybody listening, thank you again. We will see you next week. Bye for now.